Hey, this is Bailey at The Pour Over.
And this is Joe at The Pour Over.
Today we're talking about a man shot by an ICE agent in Minneapolis Saturday. Winter Storm Fern leaving 1 million Americans without power. A snowboarder booked for allegedly smuggling cocaine across borders. And other top news for Monday, January 26th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with The Pour Over.
Here's your quote of the day. All my discoveries have been made in answer to prayer. Sir Isaac Newton. Let's get started with some espresso shots.
A man was fatally shot by federal officers during an immigration operation in Minneapolis on Saturday. Federal authorities identified the man as Alex Preddy, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen and ICU nurse. So, what happened? Videos show Preddy filming ICE agents with his phone before appearing to try and intervene after an ICE agent pushes a woman to the ground. An officer appears to pepper spray Preddy in the face before dragging him to the ground. Several agents surround Preddy, and moments later, multiple gunshots are heard. The videos have fueled sharply different accounts of whether the officer's actions were justified. DHS Secretary Noam said that Preddy, quote, approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. She suggested he intended to, quote, kill law enforcement, and that the officer fired defensive shots after Preddy, quote, violently resisted being disarmed. Democratic Minnesota Governor Walz called the DHS's account, quote, nonsense, and demanded President Trump recall the, quote, 3,000 untrained agents out of Minnesota before they kill another American in the street. Preddy's parents say that while their son had a permit to carry the firearm, he was, quote, clearly not holding a gun when attacked by ICE agents, but had, quote, his phone in his right hand and his empty left hand raised above his head. Now, separate, non-collaborative state and federal investigations are underway. Meanwhile, Governor Walz deployed the National Guard to aid local law enforcement as anti-ICE protesters rallied near Minneapolis City Hall despite dangerously cold weather this weekend. And Senate Democrats say they will block a spending bill that includes $10 billion in funding for ICE, which must be approved by Friday to avoid a partial government shutdown. Using Psalm 23 as our inspiration, let's lift up Minneapolis in prayer together. Our Good Shepherd, we come to you in a dark valley. Lead us beside quiet waters and still our burdened souls. Let your goodness and mercy pursue those who are mourning. Lead law enforcement in paths of righteousness, that they will be discerning, confident when confronting wolves, and gentle when they meet lambs. Still the anxiety, anger, and fear in Minneapolis and across the country. Give investigators insight. Give courts discernment. And grow your people's faith that you will soon right every wrong. May we be beacons of light and hope while we wait on you. Amen.
Winter Storm Fern left at least 2 dead and over 1 million Americans powerless from New Mexico to New England this weekend. Thick layers of ice and heavy snow blanketed 34 states, at least 24 of which have declared emergencies, with the highest threat of destructive ice stretching from Texas to Virginia. Flight cancellations are piling up, and a growing list of schools across the country have called off classes for Monday as roads become impassable. Lawmakers are urging people to stay home, while forecasters warn of crippling accumulations, record sub-zero temperatures, and the storm's unusually long duration. Temps aren't expected to get above freezing until later this week, and sunny days followed by frigid nights could instigate a melt and refreeze cycle, prolonging Fern's effects even after she winds down late tonight. Massive weather events and natural disasters remind us that all of the world has been broken by sin. But Christians can look forward to an eternity where there's redemption not just for people, but for creation itself. Romans 8:20-21 says, "For the creation was subjected to futility, not willingly, but because of him who subjected it, in the hope that the creation itself will also be set free from the bondage to decay into the glorious freedom of God's children."
Hey, it's Zan from The Pour Over. I've been making a purposeful effort to eat more seafood because I know it's packed with nutrients and I feel better when I do. But finding quality seafood where I live is a feat. That's why I started ordering from Wild Alaskan. They deliver 100% wild-caught, never-farmed seafood like coho salmon and Pacific halibut straight to my door. It comes perfectly portioned and frozen right off the boat, locking in taste, texture, and nutrients like omega-3s. So it's both delicious and super easy to prep a quick, nutritious dinner for my family. My first box from Wild Alaskan Company definitely made me realize not all fish is the same. Get seafood you can trust. Go to wildalaskan.com/TPO for $35 off your first box of premium wild-caught seafood. That's wildalaskan.com/TPO for $35 off your first order.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. A former Canadian Olympic snowboarder was arrested Thursday. The ex-athlete turned FBI's most wanted was indicted in 2024 for allegedly running a transnational cocaine smuggling enterprise and orchestrating multiple murders. Officials believe the, quote, modern-day El Chapo was part of Mexico's Sinaloa cartel. He turned himself into the U.S. Embassy in Mexico after a decade in hiding, ending a year-long multinational investigation.
Cue the Star-Spangled Banner. TikTok's entering its American era. The app signed agreements with investors Thursday to form an American entity, easing fears the app would be banned stateside. The entity will handle U.S. data and content moderation and will oversee algorithm security, promising to retrain TikTok's secret sauce while insisting American users will maintain a, quote, global TikTok experience.
President Trump threatened Canada with a 100% tariff Saturday if it, quote, makes a deal with China. The announcement comes as America's northern neighbor agreed to cut tariffs on Chinese EVs, agricultural products, and fish. Canada's Prime Minister Carney said the agreement will, quote, rectify some issues, but that Canada has, quote, no intention of making a free trade agreement with China.
The first trilateral peace talks between Ukraine, Russia, and the U.S. were, quote, constructive, but fighting rages on. Over the weekend, Russian airstrikes pummeled Kyiv's already damaged energy grid, killing one and leaving around 1 million Ukrainians without heat or water during an icy winter. A second round of peace talks resumed Sunday, which the U.S. called a, quote, good sign.
The numbers are in and murder rates are down. A study released Thursday found a 21% drop in homicide across 35 American cities in 2025, the largest one-year drop on record. Crime in general is also down, except drug offenses, which are up 7%. And violent crime rates are at or below 2019 levels. The study said, quote, robust research is needed to determine the dip's cause.
That's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, TPO fam. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great Monday. Catch you on Wednesday.
Not all AI is created equal. And as artificial intelligence plays a bigger role in how people learn and make decisions, the values behind it matter. Glue is shaping AI as a force for good, helping chatbots support authentic human flourishing, not just default to secular neutrality. through tools like their new Flourishing AI benchmark. Learn more about whether today's AI is measuring up or missing the mark at glue.com/FAI.